See, Bianca, that's why we need Bianca. That's why we need her. Hey, did you just go live on us?
We ready.
This is why we need technical assistance. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We've been live for what, 20 seconds, and I didn't know it.
Because every time she click, I click. And undoing what she did. I was like, what is happening?
I need some legs because of that. Just legs. I don't know why. Just my legs.
And our word from today from our beautiful host, because we were taught. Hold on, let me pull it up. She's going to tell us. Look, here go our word. What was it? Hold on.
It's too low.
That's okay. I got it coming up right now, and it's gonna be real loud.
Okay.
Hold on. Our word for today is
lesson.
Because she has told us on numerous occasions to do the right thing, and since we did not, we learned a
lesson.
Correct.
And in the future, we're going to do the right thing, so we're not taught another
lesson.
That's right.
So go ahead and start with the introductions, Denise.
Good evening and welcome. I'm the Diva D from Carved Out Divas, and over here is
actually over there, and I am April Call with April's Beauty Bar, and we are Diversity
and Equity
in Education.
Hey, everybody! Yes, and we are hosted by the fantabulous, fantastic, phenomenal Bianca Goolsby of Teaching for the Culture. Please check out the shows. Yes,
and please hope that we don't have to learn another
lesson.
Okay,
that's right.
We're gonna do better. So there was, just before we get started, there was multiple episodes that Bianca have on the Teacher for the Culture platform, and also out there on YouTube and on her page as it relates to monitoring what your children are doing on these phones. And we need to be very intentional about going over their parents and actually, becoming more knowledgeable and educated on how these how our children are interacting with these actual apps, and the detrimental stage that some of them are walking away with because they were not prepared mentally to view what they saw. So that's what we want to add as well. But how y'all doing?
Hi everybody. How's your week? I know people started popping on before I came back off, before I had all my technical issues. And just put it on me. One thing about me, I am never going to sit here and claim to you all that I am some technological expert. No. That's just my.
Did you say no like that?
When I mess it up, that's what happened. So, but yes, we are going to talk about, especially how our week was, what we've learned about ourselves as classroom teachers, real and true classroom teachers who are now being thrown into a platform that is not exactly best designed or best fit for a classroom teacher. That's first. I want to also know how it is for parents. I mean, how are you doing? How are you holding out there? Because we're here for you, but we at the same time we do understand it's a difficult. This is a totally difficult scenario that we're in right now in terms of the how you're dealing with your children, how we don't interact with the kids as often as we do. Because remember, we're talking about that's every day. We're missing seeing them every single day, and it's a big thing when you are accustomed to that constant interaction with the kids, and then that suddenly that huge factor is removed. So that does make a change in your daytime. It really does. April, what you say? Ma'am?
I agree with that. Hold on. I have to put it on mute because remember I have Tupac in the background. And like they got the TV going. I don't really want to bother them, but so I can agree with everything that you're saying. As you all can see, we have more smiles on our faces today because we made it through this week, and we have been having very effective and dialogue with other colleagues and those that are in admin positions, and just to kind of defrag and put and discover what would be the best way to put this all back together.
Sorry, that's me doing the same thing. My bad.
Legs,
please. Legs. Thank you. That's behind the scenes. I mean, you got. I'm trying to work.
Are you ready to let me proceed? Can I proceed?
Proceed.
Long as I look. So again, we want to be able to put these pieces back together. And when doing so, we're only pulling the pieces that we need and are going to be deemed as most effective for our students. Because again, I think we all, and let me just say this, when we say we all, we don't mean all teachers in the district. We mean ourselves and our circle of teacher friends that have also expressed this to us as well. We feel as though we just got caught up in the e-learning verbiage, the virtual verbiage, the homeschool verbiage, when in all actuality, it is pandemic learning and pandemic teaching. That's what it is. So we have to treat this particular way of doing things indifferently than what have been introduced to us as what they are. They are not those things. So we just really had to pull back, defrag, pull the pieces that we're going to move with moving forward in week 2. And then as we go along, we're sure we're going to revisit this again. Because if not, like I said last Monday, I can't have another one of those days. Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Right. And that's how I felt. I did feel this week. I felt like I didn't get in touch with every single student. When I totaled the numbers up, my numbers were I got to 65. I got able to not physically, but able to get in touch with 65 people. And I, granted, it's not everyone on the roster. My target is to hit everyone this week. But I just to verify where they are they okay? Just tell me what you're doing, because everyone who is enrolled has gone on EDSB at least once in the past 6 days. Right? Because you can go on there and look at that. You go to where it says all students, and you can pull it up and you can see how many times they logged in. So they all have, the ones that are on my roster have all gone on EDSB, but whether or not they entered the class is a totally different thing. So I'm gonna verify all that this particular week. Okay, so that's where I'm at with this week. I mean, it was exhausting, because it's like just one thing I learned and I found out very quickly was, of course, as much as you think you have accurate records, phone numbers change all the time. So I learned that a couple of numbers were just not right, a couple of email addresses not right, and people are looking for other things, because people are in that full forward survival mode. People are looking for things like refunds. They're like, look here, I need a refund on this. I need a refund for that. We ain't going on this field trip. When am I gonna get my money back? And because if you think about it, that money could be to something else, pay a bill, pay to get food for the house, anything. So I understand those issues there the parents are having. So that's where I'm at right now. I am a little more centered going into next week. I'm tired of a Zoom meeting. I've had two this past week, but okay, yeah, it is what it is.
So for me, my numbers aren't on the same. They are not like your numbers, to say that all of your students, for the most part, have when I say tagged in. I can only say at this point about 35 to 40% of mine have checked in at some point. That's via EDSB, that's via vocabulary, that's via Zoom, that's via phone call, and email. I did send out some emails. So those were all the areas of me trying to gather, collect data as it relates to attendance and participation. So I will say that, hopefully it'll get better this week, because again, some parents did express that there were some concerns with, technology and, trying to wait on internet installation and alternatives to internet installation, because I know initially when we had put out an inquiry or a survey as it relates to, did students want hard copy assignments or if they wanted to do e-learning, initially it was a very small number of students school-wide. Maybe less than 20% of the students wanted paper-based. Well, that number increased to like about 400% that they want paper-based now, because I think with all, maneuvering through some of the challenges, probably the biggest one or the biggest barrier was the fact that they could not gain access to the Wi-Fi or to the internet what you call it, the high speed. So they had to then result back into, you know, going to the paper base, which is fine for me. I just need to know, you know, how to best serve the kids or whatever they have. So it has definitely been an adventure. I really like Zoom.
Zoom is not my friend either, because I don't know why you need to see me. You can hear me. And on top of that, listen, I have a type of attention span that I don't need to look at you to hear what you have to say. I'm doodling, I'm doing other stuff. So I know for a fact, people might think I'm highly disinterested in what's going on. I'm like, you have to understand, I don't learn that way. You know, and I can't sit there and watch somebody talk and bark up a bunch of instructions. That's not my life. Now, if you let me do stuff hands-on, I'm writing and stuff, I can do that. But please don't expect me to stare in the camera and look at you. My screen gonna go just like this, black. Okay, I have time to look at you. Just know I'm present and I'm engaged. That's what I need you to understand.
And that is true. That is true. That is very true about your personality. Give you something to be a part of the implementation or the action piece, because that sit and get, that is not your style.
Because I fall asleep on you in a heartbeat like this.
And it was refreshing to get feedback from some of the girls in my mentorship group, like how are they doing? You know, how was their week? Several of them shared that their course load or their class workload is much more intense and in quantity as it relates to their day-to-day, like overwhelming for them. And one shared that they had a project and the teacher advised, hey, it's gonna take you like 2-3 hours. Wait, what? On top of extra work, or you just gonna do that? So it's interesting to hear their stories, but they do have a very positive attitude about it. But like I expressed to them, if it's too much, you need to communicate that. Right. If you have questions, you need to communicate that. Be a gnat, just like you were in the classroom, or what they say, very inquisitive. Keep raising your hand, and in order to raise your hand, that means you have to send an email, you have to send a message, you got to do something to get the teacher's attention, because right now we're trying to figure this thing out.
Yes, correct. Because some of my girls were just like that too. They were saying that they don't mind having to do the work because they like, some of them will say, I'm either bored or I don't want to deal with my siblings. So that's why I'd rather do my work. Okay, and that's okay. That's cool. It's just that they said it's a lot. They said, Miss, you don't assign me that much, but I got a lot of work. And I said, well, you need to make sure that you let all the teachers know. I said, because remember, I can give you one assignment, but what about the other teachers that are giving you multiple assignments and they're not realizing your schedule don't work like that? Everybody's not going to sit in front of a computer. I got a couple babies who they are the oldest, and so they have to take care of other siblings when the parents go out. Your camera's on mute. So I said they have siblings, so they're going to take care of the younger siblings, so they're not going to sit on the computer for 8 hours. Mute.
I remember I got children in the background. I know I'm on mute. I wasn't talking to you, and I was letting you finish up. But yeah, because one of the 2-pack, he pressing buttons. But today I'm gonna win. I'm gonna press back.
Tell him he's gonna be touched.
Right.
Teacher gonna touch you. She gonna touch you.
Because we believe in touching over here. All right. So Erlisha says, Erlisha said, yep, my child workload is crazy. Be more specific. What's crazy about it? Is it too much in quantity? Is it too challenging because it's new content? Like, let's hear what is the crazy is. What does that mean? What does that look like? And other teachers that are on here, please share how you feeling. Because, we can't be the only ones that's going insane in the membrane.
Correct. Correct. Okay. Because that's how we look at it. We look at it. I know for me personally, as an adult, taking online classes was very challenging, and it was just course load and work heavy. For the kids, remember the kids, you have to understand the attention span. If this is how you need to look at it. If you match their attention span to their age, and we're dealing with middle schoolers, Think of it in that term. You got an 11-year-old, they got 11-minute attention span. You got a 12-year-old, they got a 12-minute attention span. If you look at it like that, then you should know, okay, time for this child, take a break, move on to another subject, come back to this other one. Maybe it's time for PE. How about you bang some pots and pans together? Now it's time for music class. Okay, now we're gonna go around over here and then we're gonna paint on this wall and this art class. Let me stop playing. But I'm just saying.
Hold on. Don't say stop playing. Hold on, we got some art, y'all. Look, that's what mine was doing. Look.
There you go.
Mine get his art in because we're not going to do no art criticism. We're going to draw.
I took art history, art criticism in college.
When you
freshman year.
When you took it?
College freshman year.
At HCC, I took a class like that too. College.
I just wanted to see the naked dude so I could just do the whole sculpture. That's.
I can't.
I was like, this what this class about? Let me get my paintbrush. Hold on. Let me get this. So anyway.
I could not with you.
But anyway, I was just like so anyway, I was just like, but I'm telling you, the classes are a little bit heavy, and so my whole thing is like, just make sure that people are just not overwhelming these kids. Remember, they're kids. And then you contain them to be inside. They're not, children just naturally not meant to be inside a house for hours and hours and hours. Put them outside, get them a little run around the yard, bring them back in, a little time for some juice, some snacks. Listen, this is the perfect ideal time for nap time. You know, like I asked some of the kids for a schedule. My kids are like this. Miss, I wake up around 11, have me some breakfast. You should see this one schedule baby said me. It was the best. He said 8:30 to 11 is sleep. 11 o'clock, I'm gonna wake up. I might do some Zoom and some work for about an hour. Then it's Fortnite, time for Fortnite, and then I'm gonna go to bed. That's his schedule. Can you actually?
I agree.
Can you control that? This player told me he was.
That's a beautiful thing, to be honest. Gretchen says this is very interesting topic. Thank you, Gretchen. Audra says I gave 3 assignments for the week. That will take about 3 hours total for the week. I cut it in half from our weekly instructional hours. Okay. I am tagging a few friends. Okay, cute. Thank you, Gretchen, for sharing. Thank you very much. Audra says I need to screenshot the art teacher's assignment. It was written in a language I don't understand, and it was for 2nd grade.
My cup.
They don't get the Nilla legs.
Legs. Legs.
Get the Nilla together. Get the Nilla foolishness together.
You in the Nilla cup?
Cut down the lessons. Make them, hold on. Make them mini lessons.
Mini lessons.
The word mini.
I see that.
Mini.
I see you. Mini.
All right. And then Alicia said, she has project after project on top of preparing for the AP test. Wow. Ooh. Communication is key. You got to connect with the teachers on that, because I'm trying to figure out what projects would they have been doing if they were in regular school right now. I'm not a high school teacher, but I wouldn't think that her content area should all now have come up with these projects. If it's a project, maybe cross curriculum, but projects per class. If they're not due weekly, okay. If they're going to be due 2 to 3 weeks from now, okay. Like, yeah, I don't know. That sounds like a lot.
Right. And
I am
good.
I'll just say I'm educated and can't decipher. We can't either. So let's look up decipher. Hold on. What is that word?
Look at that word and tell me what it means. While I continue. But I'm just saying, you know, like for me, I teach reading. So therefore, one of the reading projects I would do with my kids is called a music book, which I give them actual music lyrics to a song that's probably from the 1960s, 70s, something like that, or even something that's more modern, right? And then have them compare to a song that they like now, to show them, like, you see these lyrics right here? You see what these words mean? One of my go-to songs is Miss Jackson by Outkast. And when they actually finished reading the lyrics and breaking it down, they realized about child support and how the man can't see his child, okay? Compared to some other song they have with Up in the Club and Shake Your Butt. I said, do you understand? That's why it's important to know what lyrics are about and how to understand. And that leads into a poetry lesson. But that's the project I'm gonna do because it ties into each other. However, you giving them stuff that with no guidance right now, this is not the time. This is the best time to learn this is where home economics will come into play. You should be learning how to do a budget right now because you're home. You should be learning how to cook right now because you're home. You should at least know how to sew a button on. You should be setting the table. You should be washing clothes. You should be watching the dish. Come on, you're home. You should get an A in home ec right now. This is the time. If you don't come out of here with some skill, something is wrong. We ain't using the time right. That's how I see it.
Right.
Now I might not be able to sew. You know, I might need to get on Weight Watchers when I'm done.
Right. I truly can't agree with that. Especially when we call us, saying, "Come on, come get it." I can't gain the weight by myself.
Look at this. I know you're an enabler. You can just make me fat too. We just gonna be fat together. I lost all this weight. Look at. Anyhow, let's just go ahead. We're just gonna continue. Who in here with us? Who else talking? Hey everybody, welcome. So listen, what about these buses that I've been hearing about that have been driving around with hot spots for the kids? Now, are they in our neighborhoods? Legs. There you go. I don't see them. However, I heard it's a wonderful idea. Thank you for the legs. I've heard it's a wonderful idea. Wonderful idea. Because our children obviously don't have the means to get online like that. And you all need to go back. I forgot what date it was, but go back and look at Bianca had a great segment on, I forgot which program it was. Bianca has three really great programs. But she talked about that and she showed everyone how Spectrum has the little pockets of where their internet access is. And then we went ahead and gave us our zip code. And she was showing us areas where, look, this school might have it, this library might have it, but all the surrounding neighborhood does not have internet. So the concept with the buses is a great thing. However, where is it where we need it the most?
And let's be clear, we're not saying that the district offers that. We're just saying that we've seen it somewhere. And the idea was that was great.
It was all right.
So Alicia said that on top of ordering books, yep, I had to buy books.
Buy books for what?
The people that send you the book, they didn't. I'm not. I can't.
Is it
Marlene Sokol says kids can learn how to sew masks. Marlene,
you're so straight. I love it.
Legs.
I would like to say yes. I died and can't resurrect me. Just resurrect
Marlene, now what you trying to do? Get a child hurt in the innocent? You talking about sewing a mask? They better look. Stop. No, they
I personally want my mask bedazzled. Quite frankly, I need a bedazzled mask. And I just
you gonna hot glue gun it? You gonna take all the toxins into the hot glue gun?
In the 813 hustle and something on whatever Facebook group that is, I'm telling you, they got bedazzled mask in there. Now I don't know whether or not they got the good filter that go with the, but listen, that mask will be bedazzled on the way out the store.
They'll look good. They'll look good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Jessica Bokenkamp says, I honestly don't know how they want us to hold kids accountable in this situation. We have parents working 12 hours as a nurse and not getting to their own work and so on and so forth. We totally understand you.
Right.
And that's why when we spoke very passionately on Friday, after a long week of struggles and tears and anxieties and a whole bunch of other variables, we decided that we're going to do what's best for our students that's on our rosters. So contractually, we are required to do what's best for our kids. And, sometimes you have to scale back those assignments for that particular child. It might be more individualized and personalized, and it might be a phone call, in order to assess what they've been doing all week. So again, you just got to do what's best for your students and don't get caught up in what they want. We have to get back and focus on what our students need, not the want of the leaders, but the needs of the child. And that's correct. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Marlene said, "Yes, I didn't think it through." Nah. Hello, Miss Smith. Hello, Jessica Heron says, my son was about to get a 0 for his assignments in PE.
What you want to do? Record him running around?
Listen, y'all, listen. We better not put no zeros in that grade book.
Everybody getting a B. That's all I know. Because you gonna tell me you can't justify no A, well, you can't justify a C either. Guess what? He getting a B. He running around.
Kids show up.
What you want to do?
And put their best foot forward, no matter if it's a 6 foot or a 2 foot or a 1 foot. Just put the best foot forward. And like I always leave in their SB messages, do the best you can with what you have.
Jessica, go ahead and take a picture of him leaping over a puddle in the yard. That's PE. Just send that to the PE coach. Just say, see, he did it. There you go. How dare he? Blasphemous.
A jumping jack. One.
Just one jumping jack. That's all he needs. One jumping jack. Yeah. Put a sign over the TV that says Fortnite Olympics and just take a picture of that. That'll
crazy.
Work. I'm telling you. What's next? So hold on, wait, Marley said, oh, she listen, what does one say right here? I honestly don't know how they want us to hold kids accountable in this situation. We have parents working 12 hours. Did you read that one? 12 hours as a nurse and not getting to work is such I'm telling you. So hey, Tamika
Jessica says, smell up under his arms. He deserves it.
I'm done.
That means he been PE.
He been in PE.
Remember that number running around the house?
You can't
lifting up the remote.
You
eating,
can't fight that teenage
all of that is agility. Look, we moving around. We moving.
Mail. How about you mail the coach a shoe and just tell him sniff that? You ever been in a teenage boy room? Good God.
Teenage. These 2-pack will kill you. They kill you.
Kill you dead.
Kill you.
So
again, we will continue to say scale it back.
Yes.
Scale it back. This e-learning has to scale back because remember, the kids are getting caught up in learning the new platforms to where by the time they get to the content, the true concentration on it is really watered down. That's the reality. Correct. If they're not familiar with how to write in a Word document, save it, then upload it to submit, that right there is a skill. That tell us how they're being graded on that. Tell us what grade is for just that.
Because that alone.
Because they have to learn how to utilize the resources that you all expecting them to send things in. Because I had to quickly share. My students, my 9-year-olds don't use Word document. They use paper pencil. So now if I gotta stop to teach them Word document, that means something is missing on your behalf.
Correct.
Not mine. You forgot to do a video or teach them how to do Word in the classroom.
Right.
If you have not introduced all of these platforms that you want these kids to go on before today, you got to do that first.
Thank you.
And that could be your lesson. That could be your lesson right there.
Thank you. Because all of mine know how to do a PowerPoint and a Word document. Why? Because PowerPoint and Word has been the featured formats that I wanted throughout the year. So for me to ask them for either a PowerPoint or a Word document is no big deal because they know how to do it. But I'm not going to say, okay, today I want you to go and upload an MP3 file and you're going to do this and this and you make sure it has audio and video and make sure you attach a YouTube link to it and do I ain't doing all that. That is not, because to me, let me work with the tool. That's why I'm not going to do Zoom. Because I'm like, you know what? I ain't going to allow myself to be tortured. I'm not going to allow my kids to see some kind of random body parts in the picture. I'm not going to see. I've had horror stories from teachers and parents this week. You know, they flash a little boy ding-a-ling. You know, I love how they use old school terms for it. Ding-a-ling all across the screen.
The whole lang. The whole dang and the lang. And see, the only benefit of me doing resuscitation, the only benefit that I could say that has been, not a benefit, the positive behind why Zoom works so well for myself is because me and my co-teacher do them together. So she's able to teach and I'm able to keep the kids in order. Hey, stop talking to each other on the side. Hey, I can't see your screen. Hey, if you don't show your screen and da-da-da-da. And keep in mind, I'm typing all this at the same time while not interrupting. So if they know, they get 3 times for me to have to say something to them, and then you just remove from the class. Now, I could not imagine doing it alone because it would be overwhelming. So that has worked out for us. That has worked out well.
And I
So that's
like
the
fact
only
that
reason why
our-
we have done it. But we're
Okay.
even scaling that back this week to 2 days a week.
Because our coach also told us too, he said he is willing to sit in. And if we
It would
wanted to
help
do
a
a
lot.
class and do a pull out, like do actual small, like a little pull out group and have a small session like that. He said the only liability would be, of course, you always need to have the 2 adults because it's just easier that way. They've learned through all of the things they've discussed this week, and they talk about now they want everybody to adjust the settings and this, and don't let the kids get on. And I said, you know what? Guess what? I'm gonna make my life real easy. I just ain't gonna do it. I'm doing pre-recorded PowerPoint lessons. I'm actually teaching a full lesson, but I'm going to record it. No more than 10, 15 minutes, record it. And then it's going to upload straight to Edsby, and I'm done. Because I don't want, guess what? One thing I won't have, and one thing I truly got to admit about this format I'm using right now, is the fact that I won't have interruptions. I'll be able to teach it all the way through. And if you have a question, now you can send me a message about a question. But now I'm able to teach it all the way through with not a single interruption. And then and you can go back and watch the video again and again and again and say, oh, okay, I got to understand why this means this. Fine. But no, I'm not torturing myself like that because I just don't want to see what did grandma say. Some dangling was all in the screen. No, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. No.
We have Becky Smith says, scale it back. This situation is already stressful enough for everybody. And I think we keep missing. It's a pandemic for everybody. Yes. That includes us, the administrators, the cleanup crew, which I know if I was a custodian right now, hold on, because somebody got to, hold on.
Get him.
I know that if I was a custodial staff, and then if I didn't have the suits that I know that the people that's in the medical field or the what do they call those suits when
the
people work?
Suits.
Yeah, if I didn't have one of those suits and the proper chemicals that I know are killing corona and every other thing that's out there on these surfaces that has been incubating for months at this point, and some sites, because due to the lack of deep cleaning throughout the school year, I would be freaking out every time I walked on the campus. That's what would happen to me. I would be freaking out. So I applaud that we're forgetting about our custodians are cleaning the schools, because initially I thought it was going to be a separate company, but that was my misunderstanding. And they are, challenged with going in and cleaning these schools. And it's like, oh, well, that's what they normally do anyway. This is not normal. This is not normal for anyone. And I think we keep forgetting that. So I truly agree. Everybody scale back, because again, if the forms that leadership is requiring for teachers to fill out to collect what they saw for the week as it relates to attendance, participation, classwork, blah, blah, blah. If those forms are creating an additional 2 to 3 hours on top of a teacher's week, no. Allow the teachers to do their jobs. And in the event that they demonstrate that they need supports, then offer it. Other than that, go back, step back in the back of the last 6 feet. Go back.
And does it have an SB number on it, is the question.
Legs. For those of us that are CTA members, it is very important for you to go to the Hillsborough Classroom Teachers Association page. And even if you're a non-member, remember you get the same. Anyway, go ahead and take the time out to listen to the weekly meetings. And I think they're on Tuesdays at, I want to say 6 or 7, but don't quote me on it. We'll go back and post it there. You need to be connected to what's going on and what it is that you are definitely responsible for. But to say you have to use a specific form, teach a specific way, deliver your instruction a certain, nope. Know your contract, know what's expected of you. Yes, we get there had to be something put out there from leadership to say, here is a guide, a tool, a resource. But in the event you opt not to use that guide, tool, or resource, you need to have something else in place that you develop. Not saying you don't got to do nothing completely. You just got to have something to show how you collected data. Correct.
And always remember, use the tools. And my grandfather always would say, use the tools you're given. You already have your EdConnect files. You already have Edsby. You already have all the stuff that that's built in there. Well, guess what? You have Remind. And the one thing I like about those programs is they actually tell you as you're using it, don't forget everyone can see this document. This is a public open document. Well, guess what? Then why are you asking me a bunch of questions about what I have or who I haven't communicated with? This supposedly is a public document, which means you can run them files yourself. Legs. Next on the checklist. Hey, listen, is that twin in the background? Twin. Anyway, let's talk about these hotels for the sick. Now, Walter touched on it earlier today. I got some feelings and some.
Well, people don't know what we're talking about, so you got to go back and clear that up.
Well, I'd like to start. The jumping off point is about. We all know we're in coronavirus season right now, and there was a cruise ship that was headed directly to Florida, and they dropped off co-passengers, things like that, and then they are now a lot of people who are showing symptoms of the coronavirus are being housed in particular hotels.
And for clarity, cruise ships came to Florida. We didn't say they docked in Tampa. We never said that. That was a question. Right. Cruise ships. However, to the point, individuals that have been deemed necessary to quarantine and or have tested positive now move from there, because somebody say that you know how people. Okay, go ahead.
You know what? You're right, and they only take a sample portion off. They don't take the whole statement. You're right. So now they're trying to house these particular people who are showing who are tested positive for COVID-19. Now the situation is, the issue is, where are they placing them? Come to find out, some of them are going to be placed in areas where you're going to have large populations of people around them, in communities where they could easily just walk around, because it's a hotel. I know as many hotels as I've visited, I could easily walk in and out of a hotel. Nobody's holding me in there. Nobody's trapping me in there. And who's to say you're going to stop me from going anywhere in the neighborhood of the community? Okay.
And hold on, we want to make sure that we have inquired about that, and it has been stated vaguely that there will all the necessities for those individuals at these hotels or these sites will be provided. The verbiage being used is wraparound services for all of their essentials, meaning that they should not have to leave the facility. However, we also know that there are medical staff members that if they do not want to go back home to their families in order to reduce the level of possible exposure to their families with the virus, that they can stay there. But the question becomes, that still was never answered. So are they going back and forth to the hospital? Are they moving back and forth throughout the community? Or are they considered to be quarantined? That's the grade, the unknown part right there that still remains unanswered, besides the blanket statement that there's wraparound services. But go ahead. I want to provide the clarity every time, because somebody gonna tell the lie. Go ahead. I'm glad you said it just like that too. So because what I like about how she and I operate is that I give the big roundabout picture and she gives the fine details, which I absolutely love. Okay, so now you've got the area that they're talking about is over here, down here where towards the Busch Garden area, Temple Terrace area, you call it, where the Youngling Center is, all that. So wait a minute, I know plenty of people, because when I pass by to get my delicious Chick-fil-A sandwich over there off of Fowler, I mean, we within the same area. So how you're telling me that you're putting a whole bunch of people who are potentially ill, who might potentially, spread this in some way, because we up to now still can't stay inside the house. Everybody always want to be someplace, okay? And now this is a heavily populated area. This is close to USF area. So I just don't see why it could have been placed where it could be someplace even further away with less access to people and less traffic around. Let's just say that. Maybe the hotels on the beaches.
Oh, the beaches that are actually closed, so nobody will be around there. Perhaps. Just a thought. So my other question is, what about the community? Did these things seem to be happening in, as we say, silos or separated out a little bit in quiet little meetings? I mean, where are the people that live in the community? Why do they have an option or an ability to even contribute to the decision-making process?
And for me, even if we know this is a like I say, unknown territory, we don't know all about this. Even if I'm not invited to the conversation as a taxpayer and constituent in District 61 Correct. And District 3, and and the numbers go on and so forth, and been in my home for 20 years, and I think I've been a pretty good citizen along the way.
Yep.
I would think that I deserve to know the information transparently versus trying to figure it out and then almost as if chastised or deemed as being a person that's adding fire to the fuel to the flame is what it was also mentioned as to the situation, versus just being viewed as I have questions and people on my street have questions, and right. It's okay for constituents to have questions and not respond defensively, because then it makes you wonder, well, hell, if I really was in trouble, I am in trouble right now. We all are. So it just makes you wonder, like, are you a good representation for me? Do you represent right. me as well?
Correct. And this goes right back around to way back a couple months ago, when I was making those statements that people was getting mad about and blocked me off but that's besides the point. That people were saying that, listen, why are you saying this about politicians and saying that? But I said, but understand something. This example right here is a perfect example of exactly what I was saying earlier, which is, you gonna allow this in a community? I mean, wait a minute. Why I can't say what I need to say? Because I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm seeing a pattern of when things don't go right, let's just dump them off over here, versus what I need to do on the other side of town. I mean, that's what I got. This is what I'm continuing to receive out of this. So okay, go ahead, April.
I was just thinking that communities that are more financially stable and resourceful could sustain facilities as such, versus communities that are dense or serving individuals that have socioeconomic challenges. In the event that this outbreak becomes more than they can handle, they don't have the financial resources in order to do something different. Now, what that different is, I don't know, because again, we've never experienced this, but I just think that it would do more harm than good in certain areas. And I am entitled to my opinion and my feelings. They're mine. They're mine. Correct. They're mine. They're mine. And as a taxpayer, that part.
Exactly, because let me tell you something. That's what I do. I pay them taxes. Let me tell you something. And being that I don't have kids, I've never received a check for what do you call again, the child check? What we call it, the check, the $8,000 check that everybody else was so happy about getting.
What $8,000 check? Talking about earned income credits?
Yes, earned income tax credit. So understand something. I am entitled to every opinion that come out my mouth. Why? Because I'm a taxpayer. I've never received any money from the government. I mean, maybe I've gotten like a $200 or $300 check here and there. I mean, at most, but $1,000, because that was the year I had done some home repair or something like that. I mean, you can't claim nothing. So of course I'm going to say it, because why? I pay taxes. I got things to say. Lots.
We do. And we have opinions.
Everything
we should do. All right, let's go back to some of the comments. It says that
comments.
Let's go back. Audra said that it took her hours to fill out the spreadsheet of student contact. I gave up after 2 days. Audra, you are the bomb, because Kyle seen it and said, I can't do that. I can't. I need to utilize my time that was going to best serve the needs of my students. The collection of data, I will get that to them. Hi Portia, how you doing, sweetie?
Hey.
Gretchen say, I remember the cruise ship. It is another cruise ship coming to Florida. And see, this is the thing. They're coming to Florida. We know we have several ports in Florida, but there are times when we're sleeping, and I'm going to move on. She shared that it was on the news. Hi, Mr. Washington, candidate for District 5. Happy belated birthday. Becky Smith says, is PE even a promotion requirement? Great question. I'm not sure.
That is a good question.
Audra said only in middle school and high school situations. I think in middle school, unless they're taking it online for a high school credit, then in middle school, it's not a promotion factor.
I don't think it's required.
Don't tell the kids that.
Because you have to because you can take like 2 reading, two math. You have to take other classes.
Right. So but in high school they have to take Hope. They do. Alicia says, I think you have a title, girl. I got no time. I'm a teacher, a mother, a constituent, a taxpayer, the things that matter. You're right. I do. You're right, sweetie. All right. Bianca says, these cemeteries all over the city, and then you place a quarantine area is a hot spot near a theme park, a university, near hospitals, near a plethora of small businesses that are medical related, meaning that out there near the US area, you got the 2 Moffitt centers out there, you got Abbott Health, you got so many, you got towers out there for the different types of screenings for cancer, so on and so forth. So the USF area, a certain part of it is really, and it's my own description of like a medical district. It really is. Like, and then you got the VA hospital right up the street.
Right down the street.
Help me understand.
Right.
But you know what? We're just supposed to lie down and don't ask no questions.
Right.
We're not entitled to them, I guess.
But this is why people, if you don't know your rights, or even if you don't know your right, you have the one a foundational right that you have is the right to ask questions. You got the right to be informed. There's nothing wrong with asking a question. What's that? Why you think every time she laugh at me all the time? Everywhere I'm going, I gotta go look and touch something. Now, what's this? What does this do? Let me see it. Because I need to know. I need to know. You're not going to just leave something in front of me and expect me to just take whatever answer you throw at me. No, I have to be informed, especially since I'm not from here. You know what I'm saying? So I always want to know questions.
Then the problem with that is she be touching these people $1 million exhibits.
So
in museums, and the signs say do not touch. And she be like, I
need to know if it was truly hardwood the way the wood in the frame was. I just need to know. It looked amazing to me.
She touched Sue, a multi-million
dinosaur. And so the bones were still in place. Why you gotta bring old stuff?
Legs. And to be honest, that's where we discovered the legs for the owl.
Right? Yes.
Look, I share our story with Marlene Sokol. She's the only one that knows our secret. She just don't know that information will cost us. It's gonna cost her. If you tell anybody, we know who told it. We know who told it.
You're right, legs. You're right. Okay, for real. Look, there you go, right there. Just have to lift the leg. Just lift it up.
Yes.
So anyway, so listen, so people, how was your week? I've never heard from any other teachers. What's going on? How was their week?
They had stress-free weeks. We the only ones that's around here acting like it's hard work.
I ain't worried about all that shit. Let me tell you something. Okay, but listen, parents, I want you to do this. Don't feel overwhelmed. What I need you to do, parents, is just understand your job is to facilitate the learning. We got it. You just need to facilitate. Like that's why we want to talk to you and call you. Let us know what your schedule looking like. I mean, how difficult is it for you right now? Let me scale back on some of the things. What can he or she do right now? It's not to say, hey, I've given them 20 pieces of paper and I need it all due by tomorrow at 9 o'clock. No, what can you do right now? Give me that, and then we'll work together. Because it's so unrealistic to believe that every child have the same exact expectation. You can't do it. And just like I think you mentioned it earlier, the ESOL students, those are part of my group that I can't really reach out to. And I know I'm gonna need a full interpreter for some of the kids, especially the kids who speak Haitian Creole, and then the ones who I have 6 or 7 of them. And then I have the kids who are predominantly Spanish-speaking households.
What is it, monolingual? Is that what it's called?
They're bilingual.
And then there's something else, monolingual, because with the monolinguals, we're assuming that when they speak the one language, that is that what that is, monolingual?
I think we mean it's like the ones who are they're
speak
illiterate.
one language, but it's not English. That's my point.
Okay, yeah. So so that means they have solo,
right, meaning that they cannot read it, and they cannot speak English. Okay. Like they don't have they don't have a lot of experience with English. So I just want a whole truth to say that it has been a challenge. We do have one young man that he does his best, and that's because math is a universal language. It just is. Once we're able to break down the barrier about what vocabulary word we're trying to get him to understand as it translates into his language, just by using the symbols, in most cases it works. Yeah. But the more complex things like, you know, long division and so on and so forth, it gets really challenging for the kids. So, you know, we're working on some things. We are definitely scaling it back for those babies, because if they could get 2 questions done independently, they didn't watch them videos, they didn't provide me some feedback on words that I've asked them about to be able to at least type it the best you can, or, you know, let's have a phone call, let's talk about it the best we can, because we don't have a plethora of Hispanic speakers on our campus that serve in a role as a paraprofessional. Right. We have one. We have one too, yeah. So that's one person for the whole school of, I think, right at 800. That's no, that's not realistic. But we can't just exclude those children. So I don't know what we're doing with that as a district, because I don't know. It was a challenge. It was an issue before we left for this pandemic. Teaching had nothing to do with it. That was an issue already. And verify that again. It's pandemic teaching. It is not teaching. Oh, all of a sudden we switching over to online. No, we in crazy mode right now, because really, realistically, we do. Listen, I want to say it one more time for those in the back of the room and the front of the room and the sides over here. I am a classroom teacher. That's what I do. That's how I excel. This online format, platform, whatever you want to call it, no, this is not me. I need the interaction. I need to know that you got it. I need to look at, here's my small group, this pull-out group right here. I need to know this pull-out group got it, because last week they didn't get it. It's all about teaching skills and strategies now, because I mean, for me to say we going back to the curriculum we were using, it's, you know, how hard it is to teach a novel when you don't have the class together. So we're going back to basic skills. We need to go back to writing. We need to go back to understanding grammar, vocabulary, because they already start writing to me on SB and reminder stuff and text message. I'm like, no. If anything, we're going to write in complete sentences, because this is how you're going to get your credit now, because like, ain't no guarantee you could do an entire paperwork from your phone. So at least show me that you're writing complete sentences. Let's do that. Just start that there, okay? But let's see. Marlene says, I really enjoy this hashtag pandemic teaching. Yes, it is. Right, it is. It's pandemic teaching. And again, I think if we keep that word to the forefront of it, like Dr. Edwards said, because if we keep it to the forefront, it will be a reminder that look, and y'all, I just want y'all to notice that the 2-pack has both and that's what happens all day when I'm teaching on these people. I'm trying to help them. Love you, Titi. They're gonna get to love you. And look, when Auntie D don't love you, Auntie D, she'll tell you. All day long. We gonna get the love yous at least about 100 times a day, times 2. Yes. These children are loved. They are loved, and they know how to express love. But when I tell you, I've been wanting to kill them dead when I'm trying to teach. Right here. Soft part. See what I'm saying? Right there. I love you too, boo. So again, the pandemic teaching is definitely something that needs to stay at the forefront. It's not e-learning. It's not. It's pandemic teaching. It's pandemic learning. Right, because virtual school teachers are doing e-learning and e-teaching. They know that. They were hired to do that job. I was hired to sit in front of 100 plus and do some teaching. That's what I was hired to do. So therefore, the 2 things are not the same. If you pull a virtual school teacher's contract and then pull my contract, you will clearly see that is 2 different type of teaching and strategies, methods, whatever like that, whatever you want to call it. But it's different. And we said, hey,
Hey, we are responding to a crisis. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, you got your shout out too, Auntie Alicia. But yeah, we definitely, and we also have to remember, we also have to be mindful collectively from the education
But standpoint platform.
yes, is that parents are also pandemic living. They trying to figure this out. They look, there are parents express that I no longer have a job. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I like at that point, I can't talk to you no more about Susan not logging in and not figuring this out. How can I help you? And then I had to remind myself, Cobb, stop. Because you are a natural server. You would try to figure all of this out and you can't. You can't, you can't.
Right.
And you know the resources are limited at just to refer back to the school site, because even at the school site, the resources weren't there then. So I don't want to put myself in a position mentally to get caught up in what can I do to help when I know I can't. So we got to just keep all of that in mind.
And that's one of the things I was thinking too. When you send a survey out, the first survey should have been about how is the parent doing? Before we send a survey out about whether they have laptops or they have a computer or they have this or a Wi-Fi, whatever, the first survey should have been, is your parent still employed? Or mom and dad, okay, are you stable in the house? Because if somebody has lost their job, the last question I'm gonna ask you about is your laptop, is whether or not you got internet, because somebody has lost the job. I'm wondering if anyone in the school system is realizing that when you cut on CNN, NBC, CNBC, or everything I'm hooked on in the morning like crack, if you cut them on, you will see that this country has reached 6.6 million people unemployed. Some of them got to be in Hillsborough County. Some of them have got to be in Hillsborough County.
Look, I'm not. I ain't gonna add no more stuff to my wonder list. No.
I'm just saying to you that with grappling with that knowledge, okay, and that's just the reported claims, okay, because those are the ones who got through on the 800 number line. Okay, you should know some of them are people in Hillsborough County. You should know it. So you can't just, let's just jump onto a virtual school platform. How? Parents trying to eat. And then, I mean, looking at the news, a lot of these stimulus checks and stuff ain't going to even hit till June, July, August. If you ain't got your tax check before, it's gonna be a minute before you get it now. Let's find out how the parents doing. Let's do a survey just this week, and that's in fact what I'm gonna do. Like for the 40 plus I couldn't get in touch with, I'm gonna call individually. I got 5 days to do it. Break it down and call them all, and be like, "How are you doing?" I don't even care about the schoolwork right now. How are you doing as a family? How the baby doing? Everybody all right? That's it. That's all I want to know. What you got?
I agree. I agree with you totally, because, you know, for the parents that I did speak to, you know, that's one of the things that they are just so grateful that someone is asking, how are you and the kids doing? Because I know that I know majority of my family is the ones that have more than one child in the household. Like, how are y'all doing?
Right.
I ask with caution too, because I have to be protecting my own mind to be like, oh God, like, do I want to know, but I want to know with limitations, and you can't do that, because I can't limit them to say, okay, well, I don't want to know about that, because no, I have to be, you know, willing to hear it all, and then be like, Lord, whatever they tell me, make sure the resources on the other side of it as well, because I just couldn't sleep at night knowing certain things. I couldn't do it.
And that's another thing that people don't realize. Teachers take a lot of information. We take so much stuff in that we have to decompress and process, because you could drive yourself crazy. You think about all the stuff that you hear and the things that you know. And then remember, it takes time to build relationships. So a lot of times, some parents just want to talk. I mean, so in my mind, I will sit down there. Okay, I got these 10 phone calls to make. I should be done in 15 minutes. An hour and a half later, I'm still on the phone. Why? Because somebody want to sit down and really talk about what's going on in their life. Can you just listen? So look at you are just literally the ear that person has. Finally, somebody that wants to listen to what's going on in my life today. And you got to sit there and listen. You can't just say, listen, I got another call to make. You want to know how the kids are going to get through. That's what you're looking at.
I agree. I totally agree.
Mhm.
Marlene Sokol says, what a fantastic idea. A survey that asks, how are you? Without demanding anything from them, just reaching out to care and compassion. Most definitely. Most
Yeah.
definitely. And I think many teachers that already had relationships with their students, first of all, and then carried over or an extension to their home, they did that. I can almost guarantee they did that. Because remember, some of them we call daily, some of them we call weekly, some, you know, it is what it is. But then, even during those times before getting into the conversation about what Zeke doing, we always get into how are you? You know, that's part of that relationship building. So it's very important to check the old. We always talk about social emotional learning. We're always talking about restorative practices, those things in the background. And we're always talking about mental health. But we're talking about it. No more.
We gotta do something.
Implement some actions behind that. How are you all doing mentally? And when I tell you what some are experiencing, the average would have jumped off a bridge by now. And that's just to be honest. The average.
And that's what people don't seem to understand. It's like, pay attention to the fact that if you actually sit there and talk to people, it's like, let me just rewind by saying this. All this stuff we've been talking about for years. Look how God just said, here.
Come on.
We've been talking to you about trauma. If this ain't the biggest traumatic experience these children go experience in their life,
Rachel,
the graduating class of 2020 was born into 9/11. They came into the world when September 11th, the towers went down, and they graduating in a pandemic. You don't think they going through trauma?
Look, let me Ray Charles can't even see it. There we go. Ray Charles can see it.
Couldn't even see this one coming. There you go. Look at how sad that picture is. That's it right there. That's their life. That's a whole generation of kids that's going to be truly traumatized into their early adulthood. Unless they get counseling. Now, that's a group that's going to need some counseling. Them is the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas kids. These are the kids that have been
through experienced every traumatic experience possible.
Drugs. I mean, they look, the divorced parents in jail, everything. This generation here, they going through so much. When I tell you, so when you talk about trauma, if it hasn't been revealed and what we've been talking about before, you sure seeing it now. Every child walking into school should be sitting down with a counselor come next year. And I'm talking about a battery of them. They should be there on staff.
Well, that would mean that we would have to hire more. Where's the coinage? They need more. They need more.
They found $3 trillion to find some masks and some gloves and stuff. They can find the money. There's money that magically show up. All of a sudden, we're supposed to get some kind of magnetic strip to go on your card for security. We were supposed to have all the security stuff. The money's there. They just don't want to use it. The money there. We just don't know how to allocate the fund. I want to crack at the books because I think people are spending money wrong. We don't need 50,000 packets of white out. What we actually need is some.
Let me go to some of these notes. I can't with you.
Please, let's go.
Becky say that again. Can't sleep at night. Right. And I know we give. Look. First of all, let's just say this. I have worked underneath the leadership of Rebecca Smith. And I will say that one thing she know about me, Carl will, give a bunch of talk. But if it's for the benefit of the children, I'm gonna do it. I'll do it. I surely would do it. But in return, she always was one to be a lending ear, suggestions as it's going to benefit the children, and even professionally, always on point. Did we always agree eye to eye? Never. That would be insane. That means somebody's being weak at some point if we just agreeing with everything each other say. The key thing is, as leaders, it's important to have those relationships with your teachers. Yes. If every person in leadership does not know at least 50% of their particular staff, teaching staff, they could say they have a relationship with them. We don't mean all that fake, phony, kiki, kaka, all that stuff that no.
Right.
We mean a professional relationship where a person would be okay and comfortable with coming in with to you and sharing some things that, you know, on a professional level, always keep it professional. And it might even be personal as it relates to how it's going to impact your profession. Then that's a problem. If you're walking around that just barking demands, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Or send a bunch of emails that you send emotionally. Let me talk about emotional emails real quick for a second. Don't you realize that people got to read them? An emotional email is something that people got to read. You can slide out the camera because this is my opinion right now. If you are banging out an email and it's full, and remember, I'm a reading teacher. So the first thing I'm going to notice is grammar and spelling. I'm going to notice that grammar and spelling so jacked up. That means you are sending an emotional email versus let me stop, read what my my employee or the constituents have, respond to it logically and calmly, and then or formulate it in your mind, then send it. But let me tell you something. I'm just going to help everybody out there who don't understand, the ones in the front, the ones in the back, all of that. Please stop sending emotional emails. Please read your email and check your grammar. Because I'm telling you, I get turned off by that first poorly spelled word. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
You won't take email abuse?
I'm so sick and tired of it. I asked Santa last year to send grammar to Facebook. I'm just gonna put it on Jesus now because obviously Santa didn't come through for me.
I'm fooling with her.
Best I can.
I'm fooling with her. I'll just say we had magical laptops appear to hand out. Wait, imagine? Wait, I got questions. What do you mean magic?
Let me raise my hand.
What happened? Where they came from? What you mean? Help us understand. Really? Bianca say, I love Miss Smith. Yes, indeed. She is a real one. Yes, indeed. 34,000 working laptops, and I had to fight to get one for almost half a year to get a working teacher computer in my class. Did y'all hear Audra say that? Audra said she was waiting patiently to get a.
I know. Look, I was next door to her, so I know she had laptop issues all year long. I saw them legs too.
So for teachers, don't work in silos in this current pandemic teaching. Find you a few teachers that may not necessarily be at your site. Find some that are totally opposite of what you would do on a day-to-day in your classrooms, because you can learn a lot from each other. Right now, since we e-learning, e-teaching, let's pandemic network. Let's pandemic network too, in order to make sure that we are always keeping the students at the forefront of this entire, you know, horrible set of major events that are happening right now that's unfolding in our district. So again, we just need to keep the kids at the forefront of all of this. That in the end, the first question you should be asking is, does it meet the needs of my students?
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Is this in the best interest of my students?
Right. That's correct. And that's it. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
That's the bottom line. That's it on my list. I don't have anything else. I got that Sunday night conference call with the fam.
Yes. I'm ready.
And by the way, we got plenty of time though. By the way, the cases in the Virgin Islands, even though there are cases in the Virgin Islands, people are recovering, which is news that nobody is putting out there. So just understand that, it's not always all negative news. There's hundreds of thousands of people actually in the United States that have recovered. So just keep that in mind. Just, eat well. And especially just, make sure you stay hydrated. I think that's the one big thing. And be in the sun. I mean, they say go all over the place, but you can go in your yard for a little bit, sit out in the sun. Like how them people do, just sit outside all day long and just catch you some sun. Enjoy life. Don't let everything get you down and be depressed. But but be cautious too. And like Marlene said, I'm gonna stay home and bedazzle me some headbands and bandanas, since I can make some stuff.
And I would like to add that if you are binge watching TV, Ozark is the one.
Man, I'm in season 3 now, boy. Listen, to all the blondes out there, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I'm a little scared of some blondes now, y'all. Them chicks on the Ozarks, man, them top chicks.
I never seen nothing like it. I never seen nothing like it.
This is her fault because see, I don't binge watch like that. I like to watch stuff that's like a mini series. So it's only like 6 shows and I'm done. But when you talk about season after season after season, I'm like, man, it's too much work. But I must admit, this Ozarks though, yeah, I had a binge watch day yesterday. I couldn't believe I just laid around all day and watched it. 2 whole seasons out here.
But she immediately want to find out and write down new shows when I talking about what I'm watching. So yeah, I'm not going to tell her anymore. But you all, again, everybody said they couldn't get into Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad was good too, but it's like and You Better Call Saul was good. And the movie that's in between though is the El Camino was good. All of that was good, and it would keep you occupied for weeks. Say it again.
I said that's what it is. It's weeks. Because I mean, it's taking me forever to get through season 1.
It was good. So that's all we have, guys. We want to once again thank Bianca Goolsby, of Teacher for the Culture, for always, extending us the opportunity to be effective here on when presenting our actual lives here, and we're going to be mindful of that, so we're not taught a lesson. And I think we pretty much learned our lesson that Denise and I are not very good with connecting one another onto the live. So we're going to continue with learning how to utilize this platform most effectively. And until then, we will follow what she told us and not have to learn a lesson. Okay.
Like today. Correct.
Yes. So
and by the way, Teacher for the Culture will put like amen on the bottom. Ain't that something else? Teacher for the Culture will put amen.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. Right there.
All right, y'all. That's all we got. It's been a great week. Stay prayed up, meditate, take care of your own selves. Take time to do some kumbayas in your seat, rock back and forward. Press the mute button, scream, holler, whatever you need to do. Just don't keep it in. And again, do the best you can for your students. Everybody else and everything else will have to wait until you do what's best for your students and yourselves.
Correct. Okay. And that's it. As of then, so good evening, everybody. I'm Diva D from Carved Out Divas.
April Carl from April's Beauty Bar.
And you have a wonderful evening. And we have to thank Bianca from Teacher for the Culture as well.
I just did. All right, guys. That's all we got. Chat with y'all later. Bye.
Bye.